If you'd like to improve your mobility, strength, and balance without needing exercise equipment, try this simple routine designed specifically for seniors that you can do using only a chair. So let's get started. We'll start with mobility exercises, starting from the head and moving down. So the first one, you're just going to turn your head side to side, imagining an axle going through your head, and just go back and forth in the range that feels comfortable. Repeat about 5 to 10 times. Make sure to go slowly, because if you go too fast or do too many, you may get dizzy. So just go at a speed and number that is comfortable for you. And as a note, if any of the exercises in this video bother you, just skip that one. Next, we'll move on to the shoulders. And for this, you want to put your forearms parallel, reach up towards the ceiling as high as you can, shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears, but trying to keep your forearms parallel. Don't let your elbows flare out to the side like that. That takes pressure off your neck and also stretches out your lat muscles. So reach up like that, hold 5 to 10 seconds, and lower back down. And repeat that for 5 to 10 repetitions. Do a couple more here. Again, make sure to keep the forearms vertical, shrug the shoulders, lower back down, and one more, and back down. The next one is also for your shoulders, and this is a chest stretch. Make sure to sit all the way back against the seat back for this one, and then put your arms up like this, like a goalpost. Then try to rotate your forearms back behind you. You don't want to allow your elbows to come back. Make sure your elbows are where you can still see them out of your peripheral vision, and then rotate back like this. You should feel a stretch across the front of your chest and shoulders. Hold that for 30 seconds to a minute, and this is just a static stretch, so you don't need to do repetitions of this one. After that, we're going to move on to the thoracic spine or your upper back. And for this one, I'm going to turn the chair sideways so you can see a little bit better. The first one, you're going to put your hands behind your neck like this, fingertips right at the base of your neck, and then just arch around your fingers, kind of using your fingers as a fulcrum, raising your elbows up towards the ceiling. Support your neck so you're not looking up and down like that. You just want to hinge right at that bump right there. So again, cradle your neck, just lift the elbows, and do about 10 to 20 repetitions, just a very tiny movement. Now you can target the middle upper back with this as well, or the middle thoracic spine, just by crossing your arms across your chest. Again, tuck your chin down so you're not looking upwards like that. And then it's just a slight arch. Now you're going around the chair back. So arching over the chair back. Don't go so far that you start arching at your lower back. You want to make sure you're keeping your butt all the way back up into the seat. And then just slight arch, arching around the middle back. Next, we'll move to thoracic rotation or trunk rotation. So for this one, you want to try to keep your lower back up against the chair, and then you're just going to do gentle side to sides. Think about twisting from the rib cage on up. Your lower back actually isn't made to twist, but your upper back is. So try to isolate the motion, just what you can, back and forth, going comfortably side to side, about 10 times in each direction. Next, we'll do a thoracic side bending, and this actually gets your lower back or lumbar spine a little bit as well. It also takes pressure off your neck. To do this one, you'll reach one arm up in the air as high as you can and lean your trunk over to the side just a little bit. That stretches out this side of the body. Then take a deep breath, trying to inflate this side of your rib cage. So take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, try to reach just a little bit higher, and then breathe out. And then try to hold your arm up in the air. Breathe in again. Reach up a little bit higher, and then breathe out and hold up. Breathe in again, reach up a little higher, and then breathe out. And repeat for 5 breaths on each arm. So for this side, you'd reach up, Breathe into this side. Breathe in, reach up a little bit higher. Breathe out, breathe in, reach up a little bit higher. Breathe out, and then breathe in. And reach up a little higher, and then breathe out. Next, we'll move on to lower back flexion or forward bending. This helps open up the joints in your lower back. And to do this, you can either lean elbows down on your knees, or if you feel comfortable going a little bit farther, you can also bend all the way down to the floor and either put your palms flat on the floor. If you can't quite get that far, grab onto your ankles or feet like that. This will be another sustained one. So try to hold this for 30 seconds to a minute and then come back up. Next, we'll stretch out the hip muscles, the hip rotators, such as the piriformis. For this one, you'll cross your leg like a figure 4, like this. Let the knee drop out to the side. If you feel a stretch just like this, that's fine. If you need to feel a little more stretch, you can just push a little bit farther, but only go as far as you can comfortably. Hold for about 1 minute on the first side, and then you'll switch legs and then do 1 minute on the other side as well. If you happen to notice that one side is stiffer than the other and you want to spend a little additional time on that side, that's perfectly okay. Next, another hip stretch is taking the knee and pulling towards the opposite shoulder. So taking this knee and pulling towards the opposite shoulder. You should feel a stretch kind of in the back of this buttock. If you feel it in the groin, don't pull quite so far. Just go until you feel a bit of a stretch in the back of the buttock. Hold for about a minute, and then you repeat on the other side, pulling this knee towards this shoulder, and hold for about a minute. Next, we're going to do a stretch for the inner thighs. To do this, you want to scoot back as far as you can on the chair, and you do need a chair without armrests to do this. You'll kind of straddle the chair like this and then lean forwards a little bit so that you're bracing on your hands. That uses the chair to kind of pry your thighs outwards, and you get a nice stretch through the groin and inner thigh. Now, we are still on the stretching portion, but I do want to show just a brief strengthening exercise in this position as well. You can kind of straddle the chair like this, turn your knees out wide, press your heels down into the floor as if you're lifting your bottom up off the chair. It's very likely that you won't go anywhere from this position. This is just like a supported horse stance exercise. So it's an isometric strengthening exercise, but while we were in this position, I figured I would throw it in there. The next one will be a stretch for your hamstrings and your calves. To do this, you can sit with your leg out like this, pull your toes up towards you, and then lean forwards this way. Of note, you don't want to allow your lower back to round out that way. You want to try to keep your trunk relatively upright and then lean forwards like this. If you do have sciatica, make sure that this doesn't flare up your symptoms. If it does, just skip this one. And then you would do the other leg, straightening out here, pulling the toes up, keeping the trunk straight, and then leaning forwards. And I'm just showing it from the side, turned on the chair, but you can sit straight on the chair and do it out front that way. The next stretch will be for your quadriceps and hip flexors. For this one, you'll scoot towards one side of the chair, hang your knee off the edge, slide your foot back behind you so that you feel a stretch right on the front of the thigh, like this. Hold for about a minute on one leg, and then you'll move over to the opposite side of the chair. Slide this leg off the edge with the knee bent, push it back behind you, and then push the leg back so that you feel a stretch on the front of the thigh. Now in this position, you can do another strengthening exercise. This is kind of like an isometric lunge where you just push this heel down into the floor as if you were trying to stand up from the chair. And then you come over to the other side and put the other one behind you and then push through this leg as if you were trying to stand up from the chair. Hold for about 10 seconds and relax. Hold for about 10 seconds and relax, and repeat that 5 to 10 times. That helps prime your glutes and your quadriceps. Next, we'll do a foot and ankle mobility exercise. This also helps strengthen the muscles in the arch of your foot. You just turn in this way. This helps work on ankle inversion or turning in. This is also known as supination. It helps strengthen your tibialis posterior, a muscle that helps turn your ankle inwards and maintain your arch. It also helps strengthen the muscles in your inner foot. Now be careful, if you scrunch too hard here, you may feel a cramp in your foot. So again, just kind of do what feels comfortable with one leg, the other leg, or you can actually do these both at the same time as well, if you can concentrate on both legs at once. Next, moving on, another exercise for your foot and ankle will be for your ankle dorsiflexion. For this, you're going to put your foot flat on the chair and lean forwards like this. You can use the back of the chair for balance. This helps with knee mobility, hip mobility, but primarily the one we're interested in here is ankle dorsiflexion. So lean forwards, try to keep your whole foot flat on the chair, and you should kind of feel a pinch at the front of the ankle when you get to the fullest extent of the stretch. That tells you that you probably can't go a whole lot farther, and just go back and forth like that. It does help to keep your arch lifted as you're doing this. Don't let the foot flatten down that way. So keep the arch lifted and then drive your knee over the toes to help increase ankle dorsiflexion. Next, we'll move on to another strengthening exercise. This one is an isometric step up. So for this, you're going to keep your foot on the chair here. Act as if you were going to step up on top of it, but don't actually do that for safety's sake. Just push your heel down into the stair, put pressure down like this. This is sort of like the isometric lunge. This helps strengthen both your quadriceps and your glutes or butt muscles. Hold for 10 seconds and relax. Repeat for 5 to 10 repetitions on one leg, and then you'll switch legs. Switch to the opposite one. Again, drive your heel down into the chair using your glute muscles and quadriceps. Push down, hold for 10 seconds, and then relax, and repeat for 5 to 10 repetitions. Next, we'll do a squat. So stand in front of the chair, spread your feet about shoulders width, a little wider or narrower as it feels comfortable for you. It is okay for your feet to point out or knees to turn out. In fact, that's good to help activate your glutes. Sit back onto your heels as if you're reaching back towards the chair. Touch your bottom down and come back up. If you can't get all the way down to the chair, that's okay. Just go as deep as you can comfortably and come back up. Squat down, come back up. To see that from the side, turn here, reach back for the chair like that. Notice you're keeping the weight back on your heels. You're not going up and down on your toes like this. So make sure you're reaching back for the chair, touch your bottom, and come back up. So that's the squat. Next, we'll move to some upper body strengthening exercises. The first one is going to be a tricep dip. For this one, slide forward to the front of the chair with your hands on the outside of the chair. You're going to walk your feet out in front of you, slide your bottom off just a little bit, and then bend the elbows and then push back up. The deeper you go, the harder this is. This can also be difficult on your shoulders. So if you do have shoulder pain, I would recommend skipping this one. Go down as deep as you feel comfortable going, push back up, as deep as you feel comfortable going, push back up. I do recommend keeping your feet out on the floor. You can do it with your feet out this way, but that puts a lot more stress on your arms. So unless you have really strong arms already, I would keep your feet on the floor so you can use your legs to help you back up if you need to. Just go up and down like that, and that's the tricep dip. To see that from the side, turn back this way. Feet go out in front of you, slide the bottom off the chair, bend the elbows a little bit, makes it easier. If you go deeper, that makes it harder. And if you put your feet out that way, that makes it a whole lot harder. So that's the tricep dip. For the next one, we're actually going to stand up and use the chair to do a push-up on. Many people, when they do push-ups, they have difficulty with their wrists trying to get over like this. But when you use a chair, you can put your hands on the side of the chair and then use the chair to do a push-up. So go up and down like that. That works on your chest, shoulders, and triceps. If that's too hard for you, you can also get over top of the chair and push up from the top of the chair. That makes it a little easier, but note you don't want to be back here so that the chair tips. So make sure your center of gravity is over top of the chair where you're pushing it straight down into the floor, not behind it where it can kind of tip backwards on you like that. For the next one, we're going to do a bicep curl. To do this, you'll stand behind the chair, and we're actually going to use the chair as resistance. If you have a seat like this, an open back seat, you can grab underneath and lift the chair that way. This works on your biceps. Obviously, the heavier the chair, the harder the exercise is. If you don't have an open back like that, you can also grab on the side. This actually works your brachialis and brachioradialis muscles in the forearm and deep to the biceps, but it's still a good arm exercise. Going up and down like this, doing curls with the chair. Then you put the chair back down. For the next one, we'll do a row, and again, kind of using the chair as resistance. If you do have some lower back pain, be careful with this because you will be in a sustained bend here. Lift the chair up, kind of pull up this way and pull your elbows back towards you like that. Make sure you don't hit yourself in the face with the back of the chair. It's just rowing back and forth, lifting the chair like that. And again, if this sustained bend bothers you due to lower back problems, just skip this exercise. Next, we'll move on to balance exercises. For this one, you'll use the back of the chair for balance. Stand on one leg and use your arch muscles or foot muscles to grip the ground. This helps give you a solid base of support to stand on where your foot or knee isn't going to collapse inwards like that. So dome your arch, hold on to the chair for balance, and then just practice standing on one leg, trying to keep your pelvis level. Think about activating your gluteal muscles or clenching your gluteal muscles as you shift your weight over onto this leg, and then lift the other one up so that you're strengthening here and working on balance. And then as you're able, let up on the chair. When you get to a point where you can balance without holding on, that's great, but feel free to use the chair for balance until you're able to safely stand without it. And then you do that obviously for both legs. It is a little easier to hold on with the hand opposite of the leg that you're standing on. So if you're doing this, it will be a little bit harder. You can just turn around like that to work on the opposite leg. Next, we'll do a balance exercise where you're standing on the leg closest to the chair and then kicking out to the side with the opposite one. Now, you would think that this strengthens the hip muscles on this side, and it does to some extent. But really, the real challenge is the leg that you're standing on, holding the entire rest of your body weight as you kick the weight of the leg. So both legs get some benefit with this exercise, and then to work the other leg, you just turn around and do the other leg there. So that was the chair mobility, strength, and balance routine. If you enjoyed it and you'd like to check out more, check out this playlist with other exercise tips for seniors. But before you go check that one out, if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.